Hello, I'm Zash, and welcome to episode 34 of my G-Senjou no Maou, or The Devil on G-String, Let's Read. Joining me, as always, is my co-reader Faith. Last episode, Canon is still living with Kyousuke, as migraine-inducing that is to us readers. But at least she leaves in the morning. Gonzo was looking for Usami to get an update on her investigation. And she has found some things. A few hints to what Maou is planning. He seems to have been a bit careless. So, with that information revealed, Gonzo, Kyousuke, and Usami, and a bunch of Yakuza goons head to the arena. I hope they can save Canon's mother. She seems nice enough. Anyways, please enjoy. You certainly are the right person. Thank you very much for your cooperation. I bowed to the lady seated at F51. The arena is so huge, it takes over 10 or 15 minutes just to get from one place to the next. Once the competition starts, we'll only be able to ask spectators between programs. It'll be even more time-consuming. We're pretending to be plainclothes security guard. If the real guards find out, there's going to be big trouble. And to top it all, even in cases where spectator and the ticket match, we can't let our guards down. I've already questioned 6 people, and any one of them might be Mao's accomplice. This is a very laborious task. Megalipses. Ellipses. What a congregation. Mephistopheles obeyed Mao's orders and sat in seat C5. As he stood up, a yell suddenly came from the seat behind him. It was a fat, middle-aged woman. I have to try my best not to draw any attention. Mephistopheles bent down, lowered his head, and walked toward the passageway on the second floor. The audience was stunningly huge. And for what? Some meaningless prancing? To Mephistopheles, the only true sport was the national game of Japan, sumo.
You like it when naked men slam together, huh? I'm just making fun of him. I'm not making fun of the sport specifically.
There are a lot of other traditional Japanese sports too. Kendo, Aikido, archery.
Yeah, other Japanese sports. I have a feeling this guy doesn't have much in the way of imagination.
Well, you get a lot of that in the xenophobic wingnut areas. And not just Japanese xenophobic wingnuts, but American, Middle Eastern, whatever. They all seem to think the same way.
Yeah, basically everything.
He had already sat through Mao's spiel explaining the draw of figure skating. What, young women prancing around on the ice?
And very, very short skirts. I mean, there's some appeal.
Well, as I said, the short skirt thing is kind of this visual novel only.
Well, but they still are short. They fling their legs up a lot.
It's more tight-fitting than short.
Yeah. Well, the skirts are flowing so their legs can move, but there's tights underneath. I mean...
It's both a sport and an art. The history of figure skating could be traced back to ancient times. Maou had already told him about the oldest known pair of ice skates in the world. A pair made from animal bones, which are now preserved in a British museum. The entire discord slipped from Mephistopheles' mind immediately after, though. The only persistent information was about the athlete, Usami Cannon. To put it simply, Usami Cannon was a source of income for a criminal organization. Maou had called her a lost cause. Mephistopheles felt the same way. Criminal groups' actions and ideals aren't ideals at all. These organizations are merely gangs trying to turn a profit. They snatch money from the weak in order to make a living out of a life of crime. When an organization brings misfortune to someone, lobbyists and interest groups like Mephistopheles drive their advertisement-riddled vans around the city, eventually stopping at the doorstep of said enterprise and blasting out some cacophony in protest of their actions. As soon as the organization promises to support the interest group with capital, the harassment stops and continues somewhere else. In Mephistopheles' opinion, the existence of people who value only money, yet armor themselves in false ideals, has stained the concept of interest groups. Maou made his beliefs about Usai Cannon very clear. Once Cannon has disappeared, we will be one step closer to achieving social justice. So, Mephistopheles thinks he's a social justice warrior?
God. I hate that term more and more every day.
Also, Cannon wasn't the sort of athlete that represented our nation. She even showed a contemptuous attitude toward the audience. Mephistopheles could understand Mao's feelings. A friend's indignation would be his fire of rage. So, he followed the plan and strode down the aisle. It was 8:45 in the evening. Cannon's free skate was about to start. The corridors were nearly deserted, as the spectators were all racked with anticipation in the arena. I rendezvoused with Usami. How's it coming?
Not well. It's no use at all. Trying to find someone who doesn't quite fit, but no matter where I look, I'm the strangest person here.
Usami finally recognized herself as a strange person. There are too few clues. We've got nothing but the number 5, the words paper bag, and the ko in Ikuko-san.
If you ask me, I'd say there are too many.
She mumbled to herself.
I nearly got caught by the guards just now, too. Since athletes from all around the world are here, security is exceptionally wary.
It might be time to stop then.
I'm not very skilled when it comes to interrogation.
That would be because it's hard enough as is to just have a conversation with you.
If only Yuki were here.
There are still 15 minutes before the deadline of 9 o'clock.
Right.
Then my phone suddenly rang. It was Horibe. An empty seat? A brown bag? Is it a paper bag?
Seriously?
It was a point that she herself made, but now she's standing there, shocked. Understood. I'll head over right now. C5, right? The audience was in a stir. Cannon's performance had just ended. The free skate is only 4 minutes long. To the performer and the audience, it might be a long period of time, but it passed in a blink of an eye when Usami and I were rushing to meet Horibe.
Oh, that's what we like to see. Cannon did beautifully.
Oh, shut up. You weren't even watching. Just like the spectators around us, Usami clapped excitedly. Just by the audience reaction, Cannon's victory is all but hers, as expected. The clock kept on ticking, but I was hesitant to just sit down and wait patiently. The moment the soothing classical music stopped, we started moving again. Comfortably drowned out by the loud applause, Usami dashed for the seat. The bag under the seat, and spoke immediately.
There's something in it. Let's open it.
It was a small paper bag with a department store label on it. What if it's a bomb?
Yeah, normally I'd let the police handle this, but I doubt Horibe-san would take too kindly to that idea. But even if the bomb exploded right here, right now, and killed all the innocent people here, including me, it wouldn't affect Cannon's victory.
I suppose that's true. If someone died, the tournament might be cancelled, but that wouldn't stop Cannon from moving on to the Olympics. Beyond that, the police our Maou seems to detest more than anything would start an investigation.
I'm opening it.
I nodded, and Usami tore apart the tape which sealed the paper bag. Another letter? The bag contained nothing but a single piece of paper, the same texture as the threat letter. I stood beside Usami and read the words on the paper with her. Just like the letter Gonzo received, it was in horrible handwriting. To a dear comrade. You've already made sure of Azai Cannon's victory, correct? Here's your next task. The target is Kanesaki Ikuko. Leave the arena. Head to the staff entrance. Chaos should erupt when the fans start waiting for the skaters to come out. Indeed, it will be so chaotic that if someone were to die, no one would be able to tell who did it. Be especially careful when you use the dagger. One would die as if sleeping with a mere slice of the fingertip. A red carpet was being rolled out onto the ice, and the award ceremony was about to begin. On the highest step of the winner's platform was Cannon. Concentrate on guarding the staff entrance! I stared at Horibe. The accomplice who accepted Mao's orders was right here, getting ready to kill Ikuko-san. Horibe kicked into gear. He called his men and gave them immediate instructions. Hey Usami, we should go too. Usami moved as well. However, she didn't climb the stairs of this seating section. Instead, she was talking to the person sitting behind C5.
Oh, really? Khaki coat. Man was around 30 years old, eh? Right. I remember, because he suddenly just stood up in front of me. What time was it when he left? Around the time Seda Makiko's performance ended. About 10 minutes ago. Sometime around 8:40. He hadn't even warmed the seat yet, and then he ran off. What a disturbance.
Usami's response was very quick. She's already discovered what the accomplice looks like. Something felt wrong. Hey, Usami, what's going on? Judging from the look on Usami's face as she turned back, I noticed how grim the situation was.
This isn't right.
She spoke with unchanging intonation.
It's too suspicious. This has been suspicious from the very beginning. Still, I can only investigate with the clues at hand. This has been like a game of chess I was destined to lose from the onset.
She mumbled as if talking to herself.
We need to abort this right now. Tell everyone to give up on the fortifying the staff entrance. Please, hurry.
Just like that? Why?
There's no way Maou would be so careless as to leave all those traces behind on the envelope. The paragraph itself was suspicious too. It hadn't been printed with a word processor, but had been handwritten. That point itself is enough to raise a red flag. And the tone of the words was arrogant, and bore a poor style. And then there's this paper bag. The person who made this mistake wasn't Maou, but the accomplice.
There's a mistake on the bag? I picked it up right away.
The tape here.
Ah, I finally understood.
To an intelligent criminal, it's basic habit to avoid strongly adhesive substances like tape. Hair, fingerprints, and all kinds of other evidence like clothing fibers can stick on tape, and you'd never even know. The real kicker, though, is this. How did the accomplice receive Mao's orders without opening the bag?
True. The bag was sealed up until the moment Usami opened it.
Furthermore, once the accomplice had received Mao's orders, he would have taken the bag away. He wouldn't leave an important clue behind for us.
Because it's an order to kill, leaving such a piece of evidence at the scene is too suspicious to be true.
Also, according to new information, the suspect was sitting in seat C5 around 8:40. Why? What's the reason behind the accomplice's appearance? As I proved just now, he wasn't here to receive Mao's orders.
Which means...
Yes, the person who put the bag here wasn't Maou, but the accomplice. He intentionally left this evidence here to lure us into focusing on Ikuko-san.
It was nearly 9:05.
Hurry, as I said. This is a trap.
The first target marked to feel the wrath of Mephistopheles was a woman named Yoshida Kimiko. Though Kanasaki Ikako was an unforgivable woman, Yoshida was even worse. Yoshida was the follower of a famous religious organization. That organization exists as a parasite feeding off of Japan's political circle and contributes to the nation's corruption. Of course, though, their atrocities never make it to the public eye. The existence of their crimes is a well-known fact. 9 out of 10 well-known facts are false.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, it's a well-known fact. Long before accepting Mao's instructions, Mephistopheles had already planned out a way to punish Yoshida with the iron fist of justice.
Oh my god, this is so tacky. This is like Kira levels tacky.
Yoshida manages a cafe near the skating arena. The time was drawing near. The methods were simple. Mephistopheles wrapped his fingers tightly around the vial. Maou had taught him the procedure to create the toxin. He was simply to throw the vial into the shop, allowing the liquid to diffuse into the air and form a deadly mist. Not only Yoshida, but the customers too, birds of the feather anyway, would all die. In any case, Maou had really thought this through. He chose the moment right after the figure skating event. It had already been a pain just getting out of the arena. The area would soon be filled with mobs of people who didn't even know the meaning of the word patriotism. If one slipped into the crowd and boarded the subway in the immediate vicinity of the arena, there would be no worry of being caught, no matter what came to pass. Mephistopheles has followed Mao's orders and placed the paper bag below the seat. In the brown bag was a phony instruction from Maou. It served only to throw the police off by indicating Kanasaki Ikako as the target. He had never made eye contact with a single person in the arena. Well, the old lady behind him gave him a nasty glare when he stood up from his seat, but she wouldn't remember his face. After all, he had appeared as nothing more than an ordinary citizen. After a 10-minute walk, Mephistopheles arrived at a luxurious brick cafe. A cruel smile emerged on his face as he reached the front windows of the roadside shop. With the cramped yet tidy sitting area, a few boys and girls sat at the bar and chatted with the bartender. He saw her. Yoshida Kimiko. His target was the fan. Die. He raised the vial over his head. Hesitation isn't necessary when making a kill. This wouldn't be the first time anyway. Someone started to shout frantically. Surprising calls of, "That's the guy!" erupted behind him. "Hey you, stop right there!" they said. Mephistopheles looked back at their pointing fingers. Judging by their appearance, they seemed to be Yakuza. Their numbers multiplied. Curses came from all directions. Why? However, Mephistopheles was extremely calm. He put the vial back into his pocket and moved with the pedestrian traffic toward the subway station. His ticket had been bought beforehand. He moved slowly and orderly. He took the 9:05 train. It was stopped at the station right on time. Mephistopheles slowly boarded the subway car, as planned. No, there had been a deviation from the plan. Yoshida was still alive. Why? How could this? Ellipses. Megalipses. You let him get away, you fucks! By 9:30, the search for the accomplice had been called off.
We failed.
Usami was already gasping.
He probably escaped on the subway. I can only think that he had already checked the schedule.
Even so, you figured out that his real target was Yoshida-san? Usami shook her head in regret.
The accomplice left to see it around 8:40. If we say leaving the arena takes 10 minutes, and there would still be another 10 minutes before the planned murder time of 9 o'clock. Under this assumption, the person in the most danger would be the one located about 10 minutes away from the arena. Because of the arena traffic, he wouldn't take a cab to escape. The same goes for the bus. Missing the 8:45 train meant that he'd have to wait for the one at 9:05. In other words, the accomplice moved on foot. The only place he could reach within 10 minutes walking distance from the arena would be Yoshida-san's cafe.
Though it was already past 9, Gonzo's troops' quick response was able to save her. They rushed to Yoshida Kimiko's cafe immediately and spotted a man in a khaki coat. Horibe spoke with a very depressed look.
I'm sorry about all this, son. You were too careless.
No. You've all given it your best. I'll report that to Father.
Excuse me, but may I ask who spotted the man?
Hey, you!
I've
Yeah,
got a few
you
questions.
dumb fuck!
He gave me my due respect, but his attitude towards his subordinates was a completely different beast. Usami started talking to one of Horibe's dumb fucks. After a while, the conversation ended.
Well, we still have to go back and report, so we're out for now.
I returned to bow and watched them leave.
What a pity.
What is it?
I asked the guy about our suspect, but apparently it all happened too quickly. All he could tell me was that when he saw the man in the khaki coat, the man was in a stance suggesting that he was going to throw something into the cafe. He didn't see his face clearly. He placed his age at about 30 and said he was skinny. If you can't see his face, how could you place his age?
Usami sighed. If that's all we have, then this isn't going to be easy. Anyone could wear a khaki coat.
What a pity.
So, we're back to square one then.
No, Asai-san.
Usami shook her head.
There should still be clues.
Megalipses. Ellipses. What the hell are you guys calling me out like this for? What time do you think it is right now?
I'm really very sorry.
I was just about to watch the figure skating broadcast I recorded.
I just thought it'd be more fun if we all watched it together.
Speaking of which, Iichi, weren't you there at the arena today? Do you always record the show, even when you see it live? Duh, bro. Of course I do. I want to listen to the analysis. I used a radio at the arena to hear an analysis there, but the TV analysts are different guys. The cameras might have caught the accomplice's face.
Hey, that'd be helpful.
That was the argument Usami had made for calling Aichi to see if he recorded the program. C5 was, in fact, right next to the ice. From there, one can concentrate on the competition without worrying about the person's head in front of them. Thus, there was a relatively high chance that his face was caught on camera. Here, this is the DVD I recorded. I took the disc from Iichi and put it on the DVD player. The three of us glued our faces to the screen, and the DVD started after a moment. Insert porn sounds here. Ellipses.
Oopsies.
The body of a woman who looked like a porn star occupied the whole screen, shaking violently. Hey. Sorry, this is today's one-shot gag.
Oopsies.
A bit surprisingly, Usami lowered her head in embarrassment. Here, this one's the real one. This better not be another joke. Ichi swapped out the DVD and pressed play again. Looks like the real thing, all right. An aerial shot of the irritatingly crowded arena displayed on the screen. Well, let me have the honor of doing the explanation, and let's watch from the beginning.
I want to start watching from 8:30.
Eh? Don't you know that the final group of contestants start around that time? You want to start with the main course?
Threw off his groove, Usami. Well, maybe more like 8:45. Let's start with Seta Makiko's performance.
What? Are you a Seta fan?
Don't say it so disgustedly. Sure.
Well, I can see your point. Seta did pretty well tonight. Still, how should I put this? Her performance was too safe. I mean, she didn't make any mistakes, but... While Ichi was blabbering on, I took the opportunity to jump directly to Seta's free skate program with the remote control. Seta really was cute. Compared to Kanon, who looks almost like a foreigner, she was shorter and had a rounder face. She looked like some adorable character created for advertisements when she smiled. Oh, there's another double. You'll never beat Kanon if you don't practice up a triple, little Miss Seta. I suddenly found Iichi lying on his stomach on the floor. He looked like a middle-aged man watching baseball.
Oopsies.
Usami silently concentrated on the screen. How many cameras did they use? The multi-angle shots were making me dizzy. I remember seeing the cameras hanging by steel wires turning busily over the audience at the arena.
Stop!
I pressed the pause button without a second thought. It was right before she stepped into her axle jump. Behind Seta, behind the rinkside advertisement, sat the man we were looking for. Wait, why the heck are you stopping? Shut up, old man. What? Usami spoke quietly.
A khaki coat. It's this person right here.
I'll play it a little bit further. The man lowered his head and stretched his hands under the seat. He started to stand up, but then the camera angle switched again. By the time the camera angle switched back, the seat was already empty. Want to zoom in and have a look?
If you can.
I don't know how to do it. Let me look it up on the internet. I know how. Wait, seriously? Have at it then. But there's no way I'm teaching you. I'm not going to teach a person who calls me an old man. Fine. If you help me get this done, I'll assist you with your patch-up plan with Miss Noriko.
There's nothing to patch up. I'll help too.
Damn, what's gotten into you two? All right, if you insist, then I can't say no. I didn't want to let them into my study, so I brought a laptop to the living room. Opening the tools as Iichi instructed, we were finally able to modify the screen. The accomplice of Maou, the face of the man in the khaki coat, slowly became clear.
You've got to be kidding me.
She muttered with a steep look. You recognize him? No way. Surely you don't mean he's the man Usami met late last night at the harbor.
None other. We need to hurry.
Huh? Wait, where are you guys going?
Keep up, Eiji.
To a bar on Central Boulevard. For a drink. Don't you know that I don't drink alcohol? I'll have a Coke then. What a pity. I guess our figure skating appreciation gathering ends here.
So mean, truly.
Though, I'm not sure what you guys are up to. I'll be counting on you when it comes to Miss Noriko, okay?
Leave it to me. I'll help you come up with an evil plan.
We dashed out of the room. A piercingly cold wind dominated the streets.
Asai-san, what about your car?
Right.
Is something wrong?
I staggered, letting a nearby street lamp bear my weight for a moment.
I think I caught the flu.
You caught the Maou. You okay? Your health has been really bad lately.
I'm fine. I took my cell phone out.
Who are you calling?
Gonzo, I'm calling for more men. We can't let him escape again.
I understand. You shouldn't be driving in this condition. Go home and get some rest. I'll just take a cab there.
Alright. Sorry about this. I'll catch up later. Just give me the address. Ellipses. Megalipses. My skull felt like it was splitting in two.
Now then.
Yeah, go. Usami ignored the bitter cold and dashed away. Ellipses. Usami's putting forth quite the effort. Now I suggest you stay away from that bar. Mao's voice told him this through the receiver. Mephistopheles bunched his shoulders in the cold wind and fled Central Boulevard.
You were right. Azai Cannon really does deal with criminal groups.
Yes, they've been keeping an eye on the arena from the shadows.
It wasn't difficult to lose them. Still, I don't know how they knew it was me.
After a short silence, Mao said, "One possibility is that you unwittingly did something that grabbed someone's attention. Like, say, leaving your seat in the middle of a performance."
Wait, did you say leaving my seat in the middle of a performance?
Mephistopheles nearly tripped in the middle of the road.
Is that poor etiquette?
Mao suddenly clammed up. Through his reaction, Mephistopheles understood.
I'm very sorry. I did just that, and the woman behind me started cursing at me.
You were in a hurry, after all. It's my fault for not taking that into account.
No, you gave me the correct orders. No one was supposed to be able to tell when I put the paper bag down. I had to choose a time when the contestants were practicing and the audience was taking a rest. I had to make it look like a murder instruction drop that you had left behind for me.
Mephistopheles grabbed his head and lamented his carelessness. The first step towards revolution had failed due to a trivial mistake. To be fair, most revolutions fail due to a trivial mistake. Mao must be similarly upset.
Really? I'm very sorry.
Mao's words shocked him speechless. I put you in danger. There was a tugging sensation at Mephistopheles' chest. He was overcome by a warm feeling. In all these years, no one has ever apologized to him. Mephistopheles spoke to the large-hearted man somewhere behind the receiver.
Please, give me your next order, Mao.
His voice was thick with loyalty. Mao is playing him like a flute.
He is.
Ellipses. Megalipses. About an hour later, I arrived at the bar Usami had run to. There weren't any customers in the dark establishment. Only Usami and the Yakuza who had already arrived were there, surrounding and interrogating the owner.
I understand. Now, if you'd be so kind, I'd ask you to contact us if you ever see him again.
The shop owner, currently freaked out by the Yakuza, must have figured Usami was one of them. He nodded earnestly. How's it coming? I asked Usami for her report.
Sadly, we were one step too late. He escaped. He picked up a phone call and suddenly left the bar. I arrived just after he departed.
Did you get a name? He might have given the bar owner his card before.
Apparently this customer is a somewhat unsociable guy. He claims to be a revolutionary and always drinks alone.
A revolutionary? I said it aloud as my mind digested the information. Speaking of which, the threat letter from Mao had sort of an idealistic feel to it. Anyway, we already know what he looks like. It's only a matter of time. Nobody can live in the city and hide from the eyes of Azai Gonzo's organization. My mother and I were found right away when we were debt dodging.
I guess we should call it a night.
Usami looked unready to accept this defeat.
Do you really think finding this accomplice will actually lead us to Mao?
I understand your skepticism, but he's our only lead at the moment.
Right, but that's the thing.
Usami spoke directly.
We have to find another path. If we keep following the tracks that Mao lays for us, it's only a matter of time before we hit the last stop of the line. Hell.
I felt the need to ask this of Usami, whose grave expression worried me. Is Mao really that terrifying?
Don't be fooled by the words in the threat letter. Have you already forgotten about when he took the ransom?
But that's... Let me put it this way. It was only because he had us, normal citizens, as opponents that his plan worked, right?
You're suggesting he wouldn't cut it against the police?
Well, just look at it. We're in the same situation here. Mao continues to avoid police intervention. Usami closed her eyes and shook her head.
A magician's magic is not meant for other magicians. Mao is well aware of the capabilities of his audience. In other words, he's been toying with us all along.
She has a point.
My proof is that Mao is especially careful when it comes to taking care of evidence trails.
The evidence trails we have so far are the cell phone Mao gave you and the threat letter. Only 2? True, we couldn't get any clues from that throwaway cell phone.
Or the threat letter.
You mean that style was intentional?
It was all done to defend against an unlikely scenario where the threat letter finds its way to police analysis.
You mean in the event it got put up to handwriting analysis?
Not just that. Psycholinguistic specialists can analyze the features, nationality, personality, and even IQ of the writer.
So, you're saying he's trying to play dumb?
I tell you what, CSI Sciences is like some of the most fascinating crap. I could never do it because I don't have the patience, but I love hearing about it.
Like actual CSI Science, not the TV show CSI Science. Those people would be so fired.
Yeah. I have the stuff where they stick in a DNA sample and like 5 seconds later the computer spits out a result. Yeah, that's that's one heck of a computer. Maybe in 100 years, not now. The connection with Goth using the ransom as tissues. It was all nonsense. Heck, there was even that Mohawk guy in the first episode of that post-apocalyptic end-of-the-century anime that said, "You couldn't even use this to blow your nose." Remember?
Only hardcore fans would memorize such a line. What the hell am I supposed to know about that? Then why did he handwrite it? Taking into account that the threat letter might be analyzed by the police, wouldn't it be a smart choice just to use a computer from the onset?
That was the very point that convinced me that the letter might be a trap, and that some element of the trap required the passage to be handwritten.
This theory wasn't so crackpot after all. And you were right, there were traces of words on the envelope, and the murder nearly succeeded.
I'd say that with how careful Mao's being, he probably intends to face off against the police sometime in the future.
Then now would be the perfect time to catch Mao. Usami nodded deeply.
I don't know what his motive here is, but Mao's playing with a worthless person like me. If only he gave me enough space to take advantage of his arrogance.
No, he's not just playing with you. He's involved Gonzo in things this time.
Yes, and as I said earlier, Mao performs his magic with his target audience in mind.
Meaning? Usami sighed before glaring at me with a defined sharpness in her eyes.
Compared to the kidnapping, this is slated to be a massacre.
Ellipses. Megallipses. Cannon! Congratulations on yesterday.
Sure!
You've made it to the finals after winning by a huge margin. You've got nothing to say about that?
To tell you the truth, I'm still not satisfied with my free skate performance.
Ah, is that it? Is it because you didn't choose a good piece?
I wonder.
She tilted her head.
That's what everyone else says.
Do you feel otherwise?
All I know is that Nan-chan was perfect. Nan-chan did nothing wrong.
Well, it's not like you can change the song at this point. You'll just have to buckle down and go for it. I'm sure she doesn't need me to tell her what she already knows.
Alrighty, I'm going to practice.
Yay!
Yes, go, God.
Then I'll go to school myself. It seems that Cannon won't be able to go to school until New Year's, since she'll be continually busy with various competitions.
Morning.
Oh, I figured you'd be taking a break from school at the moment.
Well, I skipped too many classes. Normally I'd be pursuing that accomplice, but...
You know, Gonzo's so mad he's spitting fire from his eyes. He started pressuring the clubs and moneylenders under his umbrella into helping him find the guy. The ladies from the clubs are posing as hostesses and asking customers, well, The rest pass his photo around everywhere. With all that, he's probably too afraid to even open the door.
Then I'll just kick back and await the good news.
After reaching her seat, Usami seemed to sink into deep thought. She rested her chin on the back of her hands.
Hey, Kyousuke!
Oh, Ichi. Thanks for yesterday.
Don't get all friendly with me. You better not forget our promise, you hear?
Promise, you say.
I'll kill you!
Oh, right. We were going to plan out the great submission of Miss Noriko. I don't think it's going to work, though. I hear she's in love with someone.
Hey, I know that much.
Then it's hopeless.
Then kill the rotten son of a bitch if you have to. Our agreement was for you to make a plan, so make a fucking plan already.
Look, I'd have to kill half the goddamn world before she decided to pick you. And that includes myself.
Hey, Usami-san, just hear me out.
I've heard plenty. Actually, I just got back from talking to Miss Noriko in the faculty office. Apparently they've been going out for a month now. Thus, hopeless.
Just give up, bro. Call it bad timing and leave it at that.
What are you fucked saying?
Ichi's expression underwent a severe contortion.
You two douchebags just used me and threw me away. Is that all I mean to you fucking pricks?
Please calm down, Eiichi-san. I'm sincerely sorry about this whole ordeal.
Yeah, fucking right. You said you'd help me organize my evil plan.
That's why I prepared another solution. I'll introduce you to a friend of mine.
Huh? What are you talking about?
You're into older women, right?
Yeah?
And you're looking at Miss Noriko. Long hair ranks up there too, right?
Oh yeah. Long black hair is the absolute best.
She's planning to set him up with Yuki, isn't she?
Yes! And naturally, taller is better, right?
And she has to have brains. Enough to be able to communicate with me, at least.
So, about as smart as a protozoa?
A very tall bacterium with boobs. I getcha.
She has to know how to take care of others, too. And she has to listen to me.
Oh, this babe's a ridiculously good listener.
Seriously?
He's practically floating.
I'll introduce you too soon. So please forgive me.
I'll decide whether or not to forgive you after I inspect the merchandise.
I understand. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome! Things are finally coming up, Aichi.
Aichi's mood must have improved dramatically as he lightly skipped away. Hey, Usami, about that friend of yours. Don't tell me you want to hook Aichi up with that model-looking chick Tokita.
Of course. It's the least I could do.
Well, she's certainly beautiful. Aichi will probably be very happy.
I just hope everything goes smoothly.
I personally hope it turns into a train wreck we can watch. Sounds like there's some kind of obstacle. Did you contact her?
No. I was just dreading that very thing.
Looks like Usami is really bad at dealing with her. Ah, Miki-chan. It's been a long time. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm keeping busy these days. It was lunch break, and I was making a business call. There's certainly been a lot of trouble lately. Take this call, for example. We're talking about a club which refuses to select the Azai Corporation as its preferred wine distributor. Another group has been openly stepping into our territory. I won't be able to avoid talking to Gonzo about it for much longer.
My whole family went to see Ken skate. Even Hiroaki was happy to see it.
Tsubaki was as bright as ever. I miss Tsubaki.
Yes.
She's better than Canon, at least.
Oh, tell me about it. After seeing it in person, World suddenly became a sure thing.
Look, Usami, you didn't watch a second of it.
But I borrowed the DVD from Ichi-san last night.
Is that so?
Oh, Tsubaki, I just remembered something important. Is that cell phone still at your place? Cell phone? Oh, yeah.
I suppose she means the phone Mao gave her.
Would you mind bringing it back to me tomorrow? Has something happened?
Suddenly, dark clouds hovered over Tsubaki's face.
It's not that nothing has not unhappened. It isn't not that nothing has not unhappened.
So it has happened. It is that nothing has happened.
And it's time to punt you off the roof because, wow. What? Which is it?
Listen, Tsubaki, if you try to take Usami seriously, you're only going to wear yourself out. She looked at Usami, then me.
Just tell me if there's something I can do, okay?
Despite knowing that something had happened, she still chose not to say anything. Speaking of Hiroaki-kun, he's starting elementary school next year, right? We passed the remaining time with a shallow discussion. Afternoon came before we knew it. And immediately following school's conclusion, I had an appointment with Gonzo. Megallipses. Ellipses.